It was one single video which convinced me that Moe Norman's swing was the absolute greatest way to swing a golf club and the easiest way. I want to show you the video that convinced me and explain the common sense of it. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Moe Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing. Hey, it's Todd Graves with Graves Golf. Listen, I want to show you a video, and this is the video that really defined what I'm doing today. It's the single plane video of Moe Norman, but the first time I actually saw him swing a golf club, which convinced me that this was the absolute easiest way to swing a golf club. But let me give you a little bit of background on the video you're going to see. Conventional golf, and I was a struggling tour player. I was trying to get my game together. I was a decent player sometimes, but then I was always struggling trying to find a better way to hit a golf ball, kind of probably maybe like you are, looking for maybe some solutions or look, I wanted to spend my time scoring and playing golf and not try to every day be changing my golf swing. So I worked with some of the best instructors in the world. And now this is back in the early 90s. And these guys were all great instructors, and some of them are still friends of mine, and they were very good at teaching the game. The problem with what I was recognizing in the teaching of golf the way it was that there was people weren't looking at, they were just trying to solve the problem from a very conventional perspective. In other words, if everybody's doing the same thing, then maybe what everybody's doing might be wrong, and we're just trying to hit a golf ball from incorrect positions. Today I call it the one mistake, which is hanging the arms below the shoulders. You know, the one mistake that I consider is when you hang your arms straight down like this to hit a golf ball, there's a problem. You start out with a problem. So conventional golf was starting with a problem, which I'll explain in just a minute. The problem that I was seeing, and I'm going to show you a video first. This isn't the video that convinced me, but this is a video. When you look at a conventional golfer swing a golf club, and it doesn't really matter who it is, you can pick a good conventional golfer on the tour, or you can pick just a good amateur player. They'll start the club hanging the arms straight down like this, and then by the time they get to impact, their hands are higher. So they'll start low and the shaft will lift. So you're seeing a shaft lifting problem. Okay, you might say, oh, big deal, Todd. What's the big deal about the shaft lift? Because you're seeing a plane issue. So they're holding the club, they're starting the club here, and they're impacting here. The problem with that is when you hang your arms straight down, you're a little closer to the golf ball. And now when you swing, you have to make room. See, when I lift my hands, do you see how I get taller? I have to lift up to allow for the shaft to be on a higher plane. That's because the club is attempting, there's mass on the end of the stick, and the club is attempting to align with the body that's moving it. So my hands are moving the club, and the club is trying to line up. This shaft is trying to line up with my arms in that motion. Now, here's the problem, is that when this shaft is trying to align with the arms, you don't have enough space because you've stood too close to the ball. There's not enough space in here. So you got to straighten the body. You got to lift the foot. I've seen both feet off the ground. I've seen people scoot out of the way. I've seen multiple things occur. Watch the tour. Footwork changes. People stand up. You see legs straightening. You see bodies lifting. You see extension of the body. All these things are occurring. You see the head going down with the body going back. You see all this space increasing movement in the conventional golf swing. Now, that's what I was fighting. That's when I was playing golf. The closer I got to the ball, the more my hands, the more conventional I was, the worse and worse and worse I got. Then I see this video. So now, having that perspective, having my perspective of seeing the club go from low to high, low to high, low to high, right? Seeing that perspective, check out this video. This is the very first video I saw of Moe. Now what you're seeing in this video is Moe's club is already aligned with his arms. He is already lining up the club with the arms that are swinging it. And notice the space that he has. So now he's got enough space. So now when he makes the golf swing, you see the club goes back and it references this plane, goes to the top, comes back down, and then impacts exactly on where the spatial plane that it started. Now, notice his body position. His body position is that, look, he's not lifting his body, he's staying into his legs. He always said that, I'm staying into my legs. He doesn't have to extend the body, no straightening of the upper body, no straightening of the legs. He is staying in the same space, he's grounded. And now he's just rotating, he's basically stabilizing and rotating on what we call the single plane. This is the single plane movement you're seeing from backswing and then downswing into impact. There is the single plane. So what you see in this video is that, and now I'll go to a face-on view of the video, and what you're seeing in the face-on view is look at the tilt of the body. So one of the things you see immediately with Moe's tilt is he has a bit more tilt from the upper body. Well, this is very similar to the impact tilt when he gets to impact. Now you're seeing him get to this nice ideal impact position. Notice the lead knee being flexed. And this is a classic impact position for great players where the shaft, their hands are forward, the shaft is leaning, the club is in a perfect position there. So this is what I saw. Now, here's the thing about it. All I saw was this. Because as a struggling golfer, and standing too close to the ball like this, I simply saw a guy put the club on the plane that he was going to impact. And it was as simple as this, taking the club back and bring it back down. It was as simple as that. Now, here's the thing about it. I know it sounds like it defies convention a little bit. I know that it sounds like, well, who else does this on the PGA Tour? The fact of the matter is, everybody planes the club. If you look at the best players in the world, you can pick out Rory, you can pick out, obviously, Tiger. All these guys plane the golf club. They all plane it. So swing plane is a must. Why? Because this club is designed to be hit a certain way. The question shouldn't be who on the tour is swinging like Moe. The question should be, what's the easiest way to plane a golf club? Because everybody has to do it. I don't care if you're a player who takes the club back like this, you know, Matt Wolff, who everybody's like, well, take it back like Matt and then come down. And I've seen people ask me questions about that. Look, I don't recommend any of that. Why? Because the club has to manipulate. If you take a club like this, you cannot hit a golf ball from a plane like this, or a plane like this, or a plane like this. You have to have a path, because plane is the path that strikes the golf ball on the correct path of the design of this. It's all relative to this. So notice, the club has a design. Why not take the club, move it on its design in as least amount of motion as possible? This is exactly what Moe discussed with me in the swing. Less moving parts, less rotation, less ability to deviate how this shaft moves into impact. So now, here's the question I have for you today. Common sense. Is it not common sense to take the golf club, point it at the golf ball in a way that allows you to start, come back, and impact on the design of the club in the least amount of effort? Least amount. So in other words, when you hang the hands down here, you got a spatial problem, because that you cannot impact the club here. You're going to have to impact on a higher, more upright plane. So why would you stand in a position that creates a problem? Why would you stand in a position that creates a spatial problem to where now you're gonna have to figure out a movement to allow this club to lift. You have to rotate out of the way, you'll have to lift the hand, you have to lift the foot, you have to straighten the knee. All these multiple variations. Look, you see it on the tour every day. You see people standing up, you see people jumping out of the way, you see feet, I call it people jumping. They're jumping to get out of the way of this club movement. And by the way, the tour players, these guys have hit so many golf balls in their life, and they've practiced their movement so much. I love watching some of their swings. Don't get me wrong, I think there's some great stuff out there. However, they got tons and tons of practice. The average tour player's age is 28, by the way, so they can afford to spend hours on the range practicing. Look, if you're 60 years old, I'm 55, if you're 60 years old and you want to go hit a bunch of golf balls and stuff, or you're 65 or 70 or older, this game gets harder because our bodies don't move as well, and we want to find something easier. So listen, I'm not telling you that everybody should swing this way. All I'm saying is, if you don't believe in the common sense of it, then you're probably not going to be trying or using the single plane swing. So again, all I want you to do is this. And so when I saw this video of Moe, and I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an idea here. If you're new to the single plane, I want you to try something for me. So if I gave you a stick, so if I just gave you a stick and I said, hey, point that stick at that thing on the ground, you would go like this. You would point the arms and the stick at the object that you're going to hit. You would just point it like that. So you're pointing the stick. So notice that you didn't do this to hit the object on the ground. Any child or anybody hitting something on the ground will point the stick at the object you're going to hit on the ground. Again, you're creating the proper spatial relationship to the object that you're going to hit. It aligns the body with the arm. So here's the second part of this conversation. It's a biomechanical, simpler and easier way. Biomechanics meaning, how can I use this body, this machine, to strike a ball on the ground with a stick? So now we're getting into biomechanics, is right where I tend to dive into and go to as well. So now let's add the elements to that. I've got to get the face square, right? So now that I have the stick lined up on the plane, I've got to get the face square. Okay, got that. And I got to get speed. So I got path, face, and speed, getting to the moment of impact. So here we go. So now I'm setting up on the impact plane. That's great. I have my lead arm in a full range rotation, which means it can only go this far when I'm tilted, okay? That's one thing I explain in a lot of my videos. So I'm putting this in a mistake-proof position. I like to say mistake-proof because if you get in your body positions, you can't screw that up. Notice I can't move my arm any further than that. So this is mistake-proof. Now, watch what happens. When this arm's in a mistake-proof position, watch this hand. It's in a underneath skipping the rock position. So now because of tilt of my body, I've identified the plane of the club, the tilt of the body, and now I'm going to strike this golf ball, and it's going to go to square at impact every single time. So now all I got to do is leverage the club, add speed, so it's leveraged, add speed, and then release it. Now, let's talk about leveraging the club. So you see now I'm on a single plane, get that clear. I've got my lead hand aligned with the face in a mistake-proof position. I got my trail hand in a non-rotational position, I forgot to mention that. So this hand is moving like this, like hammering a nail, but notice what's happening to the trail hand. It's folding, straightening, folding and straightening. That's where a majority of speed comes from, is how my shoulders and arms move the golf club to produce speed. Okay, now follow me here, because now we have the plane correct, so we got the impact plane correct. We have the mistake-proof lead hand position. We have the tilt of the body, which is very important. And now we have the trail hand in a striking, speed-producing position. Here we go. Now I'm going to add motion to that, add the speed, and now you have a single plane swing. So here we go. Now, why is that easier? And I've said this many times on my channel, because I have the space to allow the arms to move without my body having to anticipate or react to it. In other words, my body acts as a stabilizer. And I'm not saying you don't rotate it. You've got to rotate it because we need to produce speed. So we have to have rotation. We have to give the club time and speed So the body has to rotate. However, what you didn't see me do is lift, move out of the way, rotate, jump too much. You didn't see any of that. What you saw was this body is acting as a stabilizer for the upper body speed. So now you can divide the body biomechanically into a couple of parts. You can say, okay, this part is allowing this part to produce speed. As opposed to, I'm not a believer that this produces speed. Why? Because if you attach the club to the pelvis and you tried to swing, it wouldn't go very fast. You can only move it maybe 10 miles an hour. So this is a stabilization. You need it for speed. You need this for speed because this needs to move correctly, but you don't produce speed here. So those of you guys who are trying to spin the hips and rotate like crazy, you're making a mistake. This is a rotational stabilizer. It's rotating and stabilizing at the same time. This is where all the speed's produced: torso, arms, hands, and club. So again, got the stabilization with my lower body. I got the club on its plane, got this in the mistake-proof position. I'm gonna now produce some speed in the club and release it, stabilizing with the lower body. And so now you see the space allows me to get to the ball consistently. And there's that word, right? There's that word, consistency, because listen, if you want to become a great ball striker or even a good one, and you want to start hitting more fairways, play golf every day where you wake up and you have more fun, you need to become more consistent. So consistency does not come from more practice. Consistency comes from correctly doing the right things when you do practice, so you build a swing that's repeatable. What needs to be repeatable is my question, and that's the moment of impact. So here we go again. So here I'm in address. Notice the tilt of the body, notice the club on plane. I'm gonna leverage the club and just bring it right back through the ball. And there it goes. And so, you know, what I feel, and I kind of want to put my club down for this, what I feel in the swing is freedom, because I feel like I have the space to move my arms, the body's just supporting this, and it feels like a very safe body on my body, in a very, really safe way to move the golf club, because I'm not jammed up trying to figure out how to make up for this lack of space. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the content today. Again, you got to see the very first video that I saw of Moe, which showed me the common sense of the single plane swing.
I believe that the single plane golf swing will simplify the golf game for a majority of golfers that play the game of golf. That means that more golfers are having fun playing golf. That's my mission. What I want to accomplish with that mission is I want every golfer that plays the game to, number one, know who Moe Norman is, know that there's a single plane swing out there in the world. So I want every golfer in the world to know about this guy named Moe Norman and about an easier swing that exists out there. And the reason I want that is because there will be a day, that conventional golfer where he is right now, that one day he will get frustrated with his swing. He will get to the point of wanting to quit because the conventional golf swing is that hard. And whether it's now when he's 25 years old or when he's 65 years old, he's going to want to quit the game because he just can't do it anymore. And that's the day he's going to call Graves Golf and learn the single plane swing. I just want to make sure that everybody knows who Moe Norman is and that there's an easier way to play.